Criminal history may undoubtedly show some of the most heinous and daring actions. Authorities and police officials all across the world have scoffed at some well-planned plots. However, certain offenders make us shake our heads. They're the ones that consistently astound you with their idiocy. Here are some of the dumbest criminals of all time. Number 10. The nervous bank robber. When they say that confidence is key, listen to them, because nervousness can cause you great trouble. In 2012, a robber entered the Halifax Bank, intending to get his hands on some cash. From his body language, it seemed that he clearly hadn't done this before and was extremely nervous. He went to the cashier and demanded his bag be filled with 700,000 pounds in cash. When asked for the bag, he mistakenly handed over his gun to the teller. It took a moment for him to realize what an absolute blunder he'd made. As soon as the thief realized his error, he grabbed his revolver and ran off as the security shutters came down, stopping the male cashier in his tracks. The robber stole a bank employee's bike and pedaled away after bank workers quickly raised the alarm. Number 9. The deaf robber. In the summer of 1995, the conduct of a man looting the Berlin bank became increasingly strange. The bank employee's anxiety evolved to perplexity. Klaus Schmidt decided to rob a bank in Berlin with his handgun. He walked into the bank, pointed a gun at the cashier, and demanded cash. Everything was going according to plan until the bank employee asked Schmidt if he needed a bag, to which he replied, "You're damn right this is a real gun." The bank employees quickly figured out that Schmidt was indeed deaf and rang the alarm. Schmidt missed the loud alarm that was set off by the worker. He carried on with the heist while periodically yelling threats such as claiming to be a trained murderer. The cops eventually arrived and detained Schmidt. Amazingly, Schmidt sued the bank for taking advantage of his disabilities following the botched heist. Number 8. Over-smart robbers. On robbery and menacing accusations, police detained 27-year-old Albert Bailey and a 16-year-old kid at a People's United Bank branch in Fairfield. Albert Bailey and his accomplice, who was his cousin, made a plan to rob a bank in Fairfield. Bailey thought it would be great if the bank had the cash ready for them. Quite a plan, right? It would save them the time to fill the bags. So Bailey called up a bank employee and demanded that he arrange $100,000 in big bills, not any dye packets. Bailey also told the employee that he would send somebody to the bank to get the funds. All this was followed up with a warning not to call the police, as they were keeping an eye on the scanner. Running east to the instructions of Albert, the employees of the bank informed the cops about this, and the duo was arrested before they could even get their hands on the cash. A police scanner tuned to the Fairfield police frequency, 2 walkie-talkies, and a robbery to-do list with times for entering and exiting the bank were also discovered inside the car, according to police, along with the money. And if you think that was dumb, wait till you hear what another criminal did. Number 7. Stoned thief. We all want to succeed to realize our desire for a pleasant existence. However, many people misinterpret this and begin to sprint through life too quickly, unaware that it's a test that must be completed on one's own, without assistance. This has led to many failures, since individuals prefer to mimic others instead of remembering that everyone has various destinations and that they only arrive at the appointed time. While the majority of individuals are unwilling to put in the necessary effort, other people just want to enjoy their life. Despite this, some individuals like excessive spending solely for the sake of enjoyment, whether they are wealthy or not. To enjoy at the expense of luxury is not always a wise choice, though. A living illustration of this is the idiocy of Earl Morrison. According to court filings, Walter Earl Morrison, age 20, was employed for United Parcel Service in Sky Harbor Airport, Arizona, unloading baggage when he stole a package, thinking it contained money. This stoner and thief, instead of getting his hands on money, got his hands on diamonds worth $160,000 during this robbery. Now you might be thinking that he must have sold these diamonds and completely changed his life, right? Well, that was not the case, as Earl Morrison traded them for marijuana worth 8,000 times less than the diamond. He had a chance to change his life, but decided to get stoned at the cost of it. He was later caught by police, stoned. Number 6. Permanent marker masks. Before jumping into this dumb crime scene, can you guess who had a tough time at the school fancy dress competition? We'll answer this for you. These guys. Due to their peculiar mugshots, 2 young guys from western Iowa who had a brush with with the police have received quite some attention from all across the country. Matthew McNelly, age 23, and Joey Miller, age 20, were the prime suspects of attempting to break into a residence in Carroll on one fine night. The apartment's resident phoned the police and called them to the crime scene. The residents also stated that the males fled in a car, and the police found one more interesting tidbit as the investigating officer told them that instead of wearing a traditional mask made of cloth, the robbers did something outside the box. Matthew and Miller had decided to paint a mask on their face with a permanent marker. The two would-be robbers disguised their faces with permanent marker scribbles, which is probably the worst disguise ever in the history of crimes. They successfully executed the robbery but were quickly caught as they couldn't remove the permanent marker in time. They were shocked to learn that cops had little issue recognizing them. Number 5. Pickpocket caught with the ID of Jollibee employee. One day, a woman walked into a Jollibee for a drink. She was 26 years old and looked her age, so the waitress didn't ask her for ID. However, the woman insisted on giving the waitress ID proof before getting her drink. She pulled out a driver's license and handed it over to the waitress. Turns out, the driver's license belonged to the waitress herself, whose purse was stolen a few days before. Instead of confronting the woman right away, the waitress quietly called the cops and got her arrested. That's one way to ID a perp. Number 4. San Bernardino County home incident. We've all faced situations where we burst into laughter amidst some serious discussions. However, I'm sure that this habit never landed you in as much trouble as this thief. On a late Saturday night, a thief entered a San Bernardino County home in hopes of stealing some valuables. After the burglar had fulfilled his mission of robbing the house of valuable items, the residents of the house arrived. This forced him to hide inside the house and stay away from the eyes of the Oak Hill resident couple. But here's the funny thing. The resident couple was talking in the living room when the husband cracked a joke and heard someone laughing from the room upstairs. They quickly called the cops and the thief was arrested. Now you know just how much trouble you can get in for laughing at a joke at any time. But if you think this thief made the biggest blunder by not controlling his laugh, see what the next criminal did while robbing a store. Number 3. The robber who left his phone number. Ruben Zarat, an 18-year-old Chicago resident, went to rob Velasquez Mufflers for Less in March 2008. He arrived with a revolver in his hand. The man intimidated the shop staff and demanded that they open the safe and hand over the money, as is customary in cases of store robberies. However, the staff informed him that this would not be possible since they couldn't open the safe. Only the owner knew how to open it. The staff informed him that this was not going to be possible since none of them were able to open the safe. The only person who could open the safe was the owner, and he was unlikely to visit the shop anytime soon. Additionally, the staff informed the man that there was not much in the safe in any case, but he persisted in trying never say never anyway. Now, some criminals are callous, but certainly not Ruben. In fact, he was quite understanding. Upon hearing that only the manager could open the safe, Zarat told the employees that he'd come back later when the manager was there and left his contact number and name in hopes the store would call him. Of course, the staff instead called the cops. Officers in plain clothes then entered the store and instructed the staff to call the man back. The policeman grabbed the revolver out of his sweatshirt and Zarat got shot in the leg when he came back. Not very courteous employees, were they? Number 2. A man who tried to use a fake bill at Walmart. Michael Fuller, a 56-year-old man based in North Carolina, went to his neighborhood Walmart looking to buy a vacuum, microwave, and some other items worth $576. While paying at the counter, he handed the cashier a bill of $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. Fuller tried to buy these items using a fake $1 million bill. Just so you know, the highest bill in the United States is $100. He tried to argue with the cashier, but was eventually arrested. Fuller was accused of using a fake document and seeking to gain property under false pretenses. What do you think the problem was here? Just a case of overconfidence? Or was it a case of lack of knowledge? Number 1. Alwyn Cross Jr. accidentally texted his parole officer. Alwyn Cross Jr., a drug addict, was released on parole for practicing good behavior in jail. While on parole, he wrote a message to his drug dealer asking if he had weed on him. However, instead of sending the message to his dealer, he accidentally sent it to his parole officer. The cops then searched his apartment and found him in possession of drugs. He was put behind bars and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. And that's why you always double-check the recipient before sending the message. All we can say is that dumbness can be funny but it can also get you in a lot of trouble for sure. That's it for today from Crime 101. Who do you think was the dumbest of them all? Stay tuned for more spine-chilling videos like this. Till then, have a nice day.